Imagine waking up in a world with no laws, no schools, no written language at all. Now imagine that one civilization changed all of that almost overnight. Guys, what I'm about to tell you will completely flip how you see human history. Most people have never even heard the real story of ancient Mesopotamia, and I'm not talking about the watered-down textbook version either. I'm talking about the raw, brutal, genius civilization that started everything. These people invented writing, farming systems, and even the concept of time itself. You are literally living inside a world they designed thousands of years ago. And here's the part that no one talks about. They almost did not survive at all. The forces working against them were so brutal that their story should have ended before it began. But somehow, against impossible odds, they built the first true civilization on Earth. What they created in the land between two rivers would echo through every empire after them. Trust me, the deeper we go into this story, the darker and more shocking it gets. Because the secrets buried under the ancient soil of Mesopotamia are not what you expect. The truth about how these people rose, fought, ruled, and fell is far more twisted than any movie. If this kind of hidden history hits different for you, then subscribe to History Lab right now. We are the channel that digs past the surface and gives you the real story every single time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this journey is just getting started. So let us go back about 6,000 years to a place called the Fertile Crescent. The land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers was unlike anything else on the planet. Two mighty rivers flooded every single year and left behind incredibly rich black soil. Early humans figured out fast that if you dropped a seed in that soil, it exploded with life. This was not just farming, this was the beginning of civilization as we know it. People stopped wandering and started staying in one place for the very first time. And when people stay in one place, something powerful and dangerous happens. They organize. The first city in all of human history rose right here in southern Mesopotamia. It was called Uruk, and honestly, calling it a city barely does it justice. At its peak, Uruk had over 50,000 people living and working inside its walls. And here is where it gets really disturbing. Those people needed someone to control them. Power was the currency of Mesopotamia, long before gold or silver ever existed. The kings of these early cities were not just rulers, they claimed to speak for the gods themselves. Religion and government were the exact same thing in ancient Mesopotamia, completely inseparable. The priests controlled the grain supplies, the water systems, and the lives of every single citizen. If you stepped out of line in ancient Sumer, there was no courtroom waiting for you. There were temples, and the gods were watching, and the punishment was swift and terrifying. This system of divine authority kept millions of people in line for thousands of years. Wait, this next part shocked even historians who have spent their whole career studying this. Around 3200 BCE, someone in Mesopotamia made a decision that changed the entire human species forever. They invented writing, not as art, not as decoration, but as a tool of pure economic power. The earliest writing ever discovered was literally just accounting records for grain and livestock. These early scribes were not poets, they were accountants keeping track of who owed what to whom. Writing was born from greed and control, not creativity, and that truth is almost never told. The system they created was called cuneiform, pressed into wet clay tablets with a reed stylus. Thousands of these tablets have survived for over 5,000 years, buried beneath the desert. They tell us about wars, debts, trade deals, and laws written in stunning detail. And the laws, guys, the laws of Mesopotamia are something else entirely. Most people have heard of Hammurabi's code, but they have no idea how radical it really was. Around 1754 BCE, the Babylonian king Hammurabi carved 282 laws onto a massive stone slab. Some of those laws protected widows, orphans, and workers from being exploited by the rich. but the punishments were absolutely brutal. An eye for an eye was taken completely literally there. If a builder constructed a house that collapsed and killed the owner, that builder was executed. If the collapse killed the owner's son, then the builder's son was executed in retaliation instead. Justice in Mesopotamia was not blind. It was calculated, cold, and terrifyingly precise. But the truth about what held Mesopotamia together is far darker than you might think right now. Slavery was not just common in this civilization, it was the engine that made everything run. The massive temples, irrigation canals, and city walls were built on the backs of enslaved people. Prisoners of war were turned into property the moment their city fell to a Mesopotamian army. Debt slavery was also completely legal, meaning a man could sell his own children to pay his bills. This system of human exploitation powered the most advanced society on Earth for thousands of years. And yet somehow, this same civilization gave us mathematics, astronomy, and the concept of zero. The contradiction at the heart of Mesopotamia is one of the most uncomfortable truths in all of history. And here is where it gets really disturbing. They also understood the cosmos better than most people realize. Mesopotamian astronomers were tracking the movements of Venus over 3,000 years ago. They could predict lunar eclipses with stunning mathematical accuracy using only clay tablets and the naked eye. Their calendar system divided the year into 12 months, which is exactly what we still use today. They divided the day into 24 hours and the circle into 360 degrees. Every time you check the clock or look at a map, you were using Mesopotamian mathematics without knowing it. These were not primitive people stumbling around in the desert, they were sophisticated scientific thinkers. The gap between what they knew and what we give them credit for is absolutely massive. Wait, this next part will make you look at the entire ancient world completely differently. The Epic of Gilgamesh, written in Mesopotamia, is the oldest story ever put into writing by human hands. It tells the tale of a powerful king who watches his best friend die and is destroyed by grief. He goes on a desperate quest to find immortality because he cannot accept that death is real. He fails, and the story ends with him accepting that all humans must eventually face their end. That story was written over 4,000 years ago, and it describes exactly how we feel today. The search for meaning, the fear of death, the love between friends. Mesopotamia captured it all first. No one talks about this because it makes ancient people seem far too human and too close to us. The fall of Mesopotamia did not happen in a single dramatic moment. It crumbled slowly over centuries. Climate change began drying out the land that had once been so incredibly rich and productive. Over-farming destroyed the soil through a process called salinization, poisoning the fields permanently. Rival empires from the north, east, and west took turns hammering the great Mesopotamian cities into rubble. The Assyrians came first, with iron weapons and psychological terror tactics never seen before in warfare. They built a reputation on extreme brutality on purpose to make cities surrender before the siege even started. Then Babylon fell to the Persians in 539 BCE, and the Great Age of Mesopotamia was effectively over. But even in defeat, their knowledge survived, absorbed into every empire that came after them. The Greeks learned astronomy from Babylonian scholars and never fully gave them the credit they deserved. The Romans built legal systems that were inspired by principles going all the way back to Hammurabi's code. The religions that billions of people follow today contain flood stories almost identical to Mesopotamian myths. The very alphabet you are using right now traces its roots back to writing systems born in this region. Mesopotamia did not just influence history. Mesopotamia is the foundation that all of history is built on top of. Every city you have ever lived in, every law that has ever protected you, started in that river valley.
And most people walk through their entire lives without ever knowing that debt to the ancient world exists. That is the real story of ancient Mesopotamia. Not just dates and kings and dead languages on clay tablets. It is the story of brilliant, flawed, desperate human beings trying to make sense of an overwhelming world. They built the first libraries, the first schools, the first courts, and the first hospitals, all in one place. They failed, they fell, they were conquered, and yet everything they created refused to disappear. If that does not hit you somewhere deep, I honestly do not know what will. Subscribe to History Lab right now if you want to keep uncovering the hidden foundations of our world. Drop a comment below and tell me which part of this story shocked you the most tonight. Because the truth about where we all come from is always bigger and stranger than anyone tells you.